So this is Bazille or Bazille or Bazille, whatever you want to call it. Bazille is German for bacteria, and I think this shows. So what is it? It is a modular synthesizer, a virtual modular synthesizer, and it's quite different from normal modular synthesizers. It's got oscillators, 4 oscillators. It's got filters. It's got envelope generators. It's got LFOs. It's got VCAs. It's got a sequencer. And it's got multiples. And what you do is you can hook up any of these little outputs with any of the inputs, like that, where you can drag a cable. You can even use multiple cables out of the same output, and with a right click you can move them all somewhere else, which is something that's quite useful. When you drag it into nothing, all cables disappear. To get rid of a source, you just double click. So that's how you use the cables. Now we want to do something with the cables. The first thing to do is to make a noise, and you see that the output of oscillator 1 is already inside of the main output. So it sounds like this. This is a sine wave. And to see what we can do with an oscillator, we start at the top. We can tune it. We can modulate the tuning with an envelope or anything. I'll make it a... Right. We can also do this in just synths. Then you can't hear anything, of course, because it's just a very slight thing. What we can also do is we can do FM, like an FM synth. For instance, we can use another oscillator, patch it into our FM slot, which is actually phase modulation, but that doesn't really matter. It's what's used in classic FM synthesis. Then when we detune the second oscillator, get these things. We can tune oscillators and semitones and harmonics and suboctaves, which would be like harmonics but back to the bottom. We can tune them in hertz and clocked. Well, clocked is like quarters or full notes. And I do this harmonics thing now. So it's easy to set up clean tunings for FM. The other thing we can do, back to the sine, is it's got phase distortion. We can choose several waveforms like sawtooth. And warp our sine wave into a sawtooth. Or these are all the things that you have heard in the 80s. And what we can also do is we can combine two waveforms. And another speciality, which I have to show from the beginning, are the resonance waveforms, like resonance 1. Which can also be combined. And of course, this has also got a modulation slot, so you can use an envelope. But you can also, if you want to, use an oscillator. you want to modulate the strength of the modulation, you would modulate the volume of the modulating oscillator like this. So here you go. All sorts of audio rate modulations. And then it's got a speciality which you haven't seen before. I'll put this away. It's got something called fractal resonance. I use a square wave to demonstrate this. The fractal resonance, this is a square wave. The fractal resonance, when turned on, can be used in, we'll put an envelope over the waveform and multiply the phase of the waveform. Sounds a bit weird. Check it out. And this can also be modulated like that. So an oscillator basically offers FM synthesis, phase distortion synthesis, and fractal resonance, which is a kind of sync